Have you ever wondered whether or not releasing every day at age 50, 60, or 70 is actually good for your health? Many men believe that the more they conserve, the stronger the body becomes. But scientific truth shows the opposite. I have met many uncles who have held back for a lifetime, thinking it would preserve their strength, only to face delicate issues like a congested prostate, a heavy feeling in the lower abdomen, and even insomnia, because the body is always in a state of tension. Large studies from Harvard show that men who maintain activity regularly can reduce the risk of prostate cancer by up to 31%. Not only that, sperm quality, hormone balance, and even everyday emotions are affected when we let the body stay silent for too long. But I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to share a truth you may never have heard before, that this seemingly small thing is quietly affecting your health and spirit more than you think. If you want to understand what signals your body is sending and why listening to it at this age matters more than ever, then stay with me, because in just one more minute, you'll see the whole picture and perhaps change the way you look at yourself. Does this make sense so far, or is anything still troubling you? If so, let me tell you the story behind it. Back then, I once sat and talked with a neighbor. He was over 60, still quick on his feet, but his eyes seemed to hide something. He told me that for many years, he believed that the more he saved up in that matter, the healthier his body would be. Then one day, he went for a checkup and heard the doctor mention a risk of prostate cancer, a concept he'd never thought had anything to do with him. I remember he was silent for quite a while, then sighed, "If I had known earlier, I would have lived differently." Today, science has clearer answers. A large-scale Harvard study that followed tens of thousands of men for many years showed that those who ejaculated about 21 times a month had up to a 31% lower risk of prostate cancer than those who only maintained 7 times. That number startled me because it challenges the long-held belief that saving up is good. In reality, ejaculating regularly helps the prostate work steadily, keeps fluids circulating well, and reduces stagnation, what medicine calls prostatic congestion. At 50 and beyond, the prostate is already under the pressure of age. If you let it sleep too long, silent changes can appear. A tense heaviness in the lower abdomen, more difficulty urinating, or sometimes vague aches we overlook. The body is designed to release and renew, but when it's restrained for too long, that process slows, like a stream that doesn't flow, often becoming cloudy and smelly. But I know that at this age, many people don't always want to or can as before. And I'm not saying everyone needs to hit 21 times a month. What's important is to understand this isn't merely about desire. It's part of health care, like keeping the body active or eating sensibly. I once thought I would keep quiet when hearing these stories because they're delicate. But the more silence, the more men have to endure quietly. So if you're hearing me now, take this as a reminder. Don't let shyness or old notions harm your health. Let your body operate the way it's meant to. Does that feel reasonable to you? Or is there still something you want me to clarify? I still remember once having coffee with a friend nearly 10 years older than me. He smiled and said, "I thought if you hold out longer, the body would stockpile more power." So that's not true? That question made me think of how many older men still hold the belief that saving up is good, while few know that sperm quality is what reflects the body's real health, not merely the number. Studies show that when you abstain about 2-4 days, sperm count may increase a bit. It sounds encouraging, but behind it is a less happy truth. The quality of those sperm starts to decline. They move more slowly, have abnormal shape, and their overall health worsens. This is more evident in men over 50, when testicular function is already under the strain of age. It's like a team with many players but poor stamina. They can't run the full field. Numbers can't make up for quality. What's noteworthy is that sperm isn't only about fertility. It is also a mirror, reflecting inflammation in the body, hormone balance, and blood circulation. If sperm are in poor health, that can signal your body has issues in other aspects, even if you have no intention of having children at this age. I once heard a doctor share, by looking at a man's sperm quality, I can sometimes tell his stress level, cardiovascular condition, and daily habits. So when we think that waiting longer and then releasing is good, we're actually letting the warriors inside grow weaker. The body is built to produce, use, and renew. When that process is delayed too long, sperm become lazy, and the reproductive system runs less smoothly. I'm not saying you must maintain a rigid schedule, but being moderate and regular will help the body run on the right rhythm. It's like exercising, not to compete, but to keep muscles and joints flexible. Quality is sometimes more important than quantity, and sperm are the same. If you treat it as a health indicator, you'll find that maintaining regular circulation is a way to protect yourself. Does that sound reasonable so far, or is there still something you'd like me to explain in more detail? I once heard an uncle over 55 say with a firm tone, "I abstain so testosterone rises. A man must keep it to be strong." It sounded full of bravado, but when I asked what he based that belief on, he just smiled. People say so. And this is what I want to share today, because science has an answer that differs from what many people think. It's true that some studies note that after about 7 days of abstinence, testosterone can rise slightly. But slightly here means very small, and especially in men over 50, this change hardly creates any clear difference in health, vitality, or desire. After that point, testosterone returns to normal, leaving no superpower as many expect. Put simply, it's like taking a small sip of coffee. It may perk you up for a few minutes, but it can't replace a good night's sleep or a healthy lifestyle. What's important to remember is that testosterone in middle and older age is influenced much more by sleep, nutrition, weight, activity level, and underlying conditions or medications. If this hormone is low, the cause usually lies in overall lifestyle and health, not in how often you ejaculate. Thinking that abstaining preserves testosterone is like believing a car will run longer by not refueling. It sounds logical, but in reality, it makes the car stand still. I've also met men who applied total abstinence, hoping to become younger and stronger, then felt disappointed when their bodies didn't change as expected. Some even became irritable, lost sleep, or grew disconnected from their partner due to the pressure to abstain to be strong. In that case, the psychological harm is greater than any biological benefit they think they're getting. So, if you truly worry about testosterone, the solution lies in improving sleep, eating adequately, maintaining a healthy weight, exercising, and getting regular checkups. Regular ejaculation doesn't drain testosterone. On the contrary, it helps maintain circadian rhythm and emotional stability. Your body is a sophisticated system. You can't shortcut it with a few days of abstinence. You need a long-term balanced lifestyle. What do you think? Does this differ from what you used to believe? Or is there something you still want to explore more deeply? I also remember a conversation with Uncle Two, he's 68 this year, who said he hadn't touched anything for more than half a year because he thought at this age, why bother? But one evening, he felt discomfort in the lower region, a heavy sensation lasting all day. Even walking felt uncomfortable. He thought it was from sitting too much, but when he went to the doctor said, "This is fluid congestion," or what the guys jokingly call blue balls, bong jan. The name sounds funny, but in fact, it's that dull, aching, tense feeling in the scrotum or groin when the body is aroused but not released. This condition isn't dangerous, but at middle age and beyond, it can last longer, causing marked restlessness and discomfort. When the prostate and seminal ducts sleep too long, fluid and blood circulation decrease, easily leading to congestion. Medicine calls it prostatic congestion. Not everyone has symptoms, but for those with sensitive constitutions or weaker prostate health, it can create pressure in the lower abdomen, difficulty urinating, or a feeling of fullness and tension without a clear cause. In a small number of cases, especially in people taking medication for benign prostatic hyperplasia or with neurological conditions, there can also be retrograde ejaculation, where semen goes back into the bladder instead of out. It doesn't cause immediate danger, but over time it reduces quality of life and affects sensation during intercourse. The human body, especially the male body after 50, needs to maintain a certain level of activity so the reproductive and urinary systems don't forget how to operate, like a water pump. If it doesn't run for a long time, the valves and pipes stiffen, loosen, or clog. Regular ejaculation isn't only a physiological matter, it's also a way to service the system inside. I know some people choose total abstinence for spiritual or personal reasons, and that is entirely respectable if they feel healthy and comfortable. But if, after a while, you start to feel heaviness in the lower abdomen, discomfort urinating, or occasional dull aches without cause, those are signals your body needs your attention. Listening to it isn't weakness, it's intelligence in taking care of your health. Have you ever experienced that feeling? If you have, you'll understand why I say that sometimes a bit of activity is a preventive medicine more effective than any prescription. Once I met a man in his 60s at a reunion of former colleagues. He sat quietly in a corner, now and then smiling socially, but his eyes were far away. In a private chat, he said, "Since I completely cut that out, my head sometimes feels light, but many times I get irritable for no reason. I don't understand why." That reminded me that a man's physiology and psychology are more tightly linked than we think. Indeed, for some, abstaining from sex or ejaculation may bring a feeling of focus, as if energy is dedicated to work or personal tasks. But for many others, especially when abstinence stems from external pressure or shame, emotions are affected in the opposite way. More irritability, trouble sleeping, a sense of distance from a partner, and sometimes a loneliness that's hard to name. At age 50, 60, and beyond, when social connections are fewer, intimate bonding is not merely a physical need, it's a spiritual thread that helps us feel loved, touched, and cared for. I once heard a psychologist share, for many older men, maintaining ejaculation is not only to relieve physiology, but also a way to keep hormonal balance, reduce stress, and maintain a sense of happiness. When the body is restrained for a long time, stress hormones can rise, while dopamine and oxytocin, the happiness hormones, decline. That's why some people find themselves becoming dry, less interested in things they used to love. Conversely, if you choose abstinence for spiritual reasons, or because you truly feel peaceful living that way, that's perfectly reasonable. The problem only arises when abstinence doesn't come from voluntary choice, but from fear or the pressure that it must be this way to be right. Then it easily becomes a psychological burden, leaving you living with a sense of lack or self-blame. I believe that at this age, The most important thing is to listen to your own body and emotions. If maintaining regular activity makes you feel healthy and cheerful, consider it part of your mental care. If you feel at peace when abstaining, you don't need to change. But never let trends or generic advice impose themselves on you, because in the end, health isn't only in the heart, lungs, or prostate. It's also in the genuinely relaxed smile you wear each day. Hearing me up to this point, do you recognize a bit of yourself in there? If so, perhaps it's time to ask, am I choosing what's best for my body and my soul? I once met a man over 70, healthy, sharp, glowing. He said, I don't chase numbers and I don't force myself, but I keep my body active, including that. It's part of healthcare, no different from eating or exercising. That sounds simple, but it contains a principle not everyone sees. The truth is, there's no evidence that frequent ejaculation harms men over 50. On the contrary, many studies, including long-term data from Harvard, show that regular ejaculation can reduce the risk of prostate cancer, improve circulation, reduce fluid congestion, and maintain bodily function naturally. This doesn't mean you have to race to reach a specific number each month. Everyone has different constitutions, health, and circumstances. What matters is how your body responds and how you feel. The body doesn't store sperm like a gas tank to be used gradually. It continuously produces, uses, and regenerates. If ejaculation is delayed too long, those sperm will be reabsorbed. That's a normal process. But for some people, waiting too long can cause a heavy, uncomfortable feeling in the lower abdomen, difficulty urinating, or reduced interest. Conversely, maintaining a moderate frequency, many studies suggest about 2-4 times per week, often brings a good balance for the prostate, emotions, and sleep. If you abstain for religious, spiritual, or personal reasons and feel healthy and full of energy, that's entirely admirable. But if you abstain because you're following a trend like NoFap without considering your age, physiology, and true needs, you may be applying a strategy designed for the young to a body that has entered a completely different stage. What I want to emphasize is this. Set aside fears, rumors, and shame surrounding this issue. It's not so private that you can't ask a doctor. On the contrary, sharing with your doctor can help you understand your body better and find a way to live that's more suitable and healthier. In the end, you are the only one who decides what frequency is right for you. Don't chase numbers. Don't force yourself. Ejaculation is a normal biological function, and maintaining it at an appropriate level can be an important part of living healthy and happy in your later years. Do you find this advice close and practical for you, or is your body sending signals that call for a different approach? When we talk about ejaculation at 50, 60, or 70, many still blush, feel shy, or brush it off with, "I'm old, what's the point?" But as you've seen, this isn't just about desire or pleasure. It's part of overall health, connected to the prostate, sleep quality, hormone balance, mood, and even the feeling of connection with your partner. I know each person will have their own choice. Some feel healthy and happy when staying regular. Others feel at peace, living more restrained. Both are right, as long as the decision is voluntary, born from listening to your own body, not from fear, pressure, or outdated beliefs. Remember, the body doesn't have an on-off switch for this matter. It's a sophisticated system, and any change, whether maintaining or abstaining, should be adjusted to fit your pace of life, health, and psychology. Don't let yourself live in a sense of loss or self-blame just because you compare yourself to someone else or chase a trend not meant for your age. If there's one thing I hope you carry with you after hearing today's story, it's this. Don't take lightly the signals your body sends you a bit of discomfort in the lower abdomen, a choppy night's sleep, a quick temper. Sometimes these are reminders that you need to adjust. And adjustment here doesn't mean forcing yourself to do anything. It means finding your balance again. Healthy aging isn't about clinging to what's gone, but about learning to live in harmony with the body you have now, while keeping your joy each day. You still deserve to be healthy, to enjoy, and to love, no matter your age. If this story touched you, if any part of it resembles your experience, I truly hope you'll leave a few lines below. Not only so I know I didn't tell this story in vain, but so others, those silently wondering, can see they're not alone. And if you want to keep receiving frank, warm, science-based shares about men's health after 50, please hit subscribe. We'll have many more conversations like this, so each day you feel you understand your body better and live more fully. What do you think? Did we speak to exactly what you've been thinking today? If not, I'm always ready to listen to you in the comments. At any age, you deserve health, joy, and love. Stay balanced, stay kind to yourself.